All right, here we are again for another Saturday Night Live Zoom, May the 13th, 2017. And I guess people are busy tonight. We got Danny, Kelly, Adita. What are we going to talk about? Has anybody got any questions? Start with some questions. Are we going to have another quiet night? People are shy about sharing. We need people to talk about their experiences. It would help us and allow everybody to learn and expand. It's the key to keep energy moving. When we keep things to ourselves, we become stagnant. So the best way is to share knowledge, experience, to allow others to gain an understanding and expand. Best way to learn for anything is through your own experience or through other people's experience. Sometimes, even though people share their experiences, we still have to do it ourselves and go through the pain and suffering, like I did myself many times. You know, it's human nature, I guess. Even though it's in front of our eyes, we still got to bang our head against the wall, make sure, yeah, okay, they were right. But we see a lot of people in the going through the Master Fast are having big challenges with emotions, especially after they break the fast. This is a big challenge, and this is really the only challenge because emotion is seed of all disease. We keep talking about that, and it really hits home when you go on these long fasts of how reality really wakes you up and puts it right into your face. All the problems start there. And, you know, these emotions are through our own experiences, through our family's experiences, and all the way through our hereditary. We carry all that within our memory because we are made of all one creation, and all those lines where we come from, father and mother side, it's all within our RNA. It's all recorded. Every single event is there, and we can access those once we tap in within. And the best way I found to access information in general is fasting. It really clears, gives you a clear vision, and answers seem to just pop up right in front of your face when you ask the proper questions. It's just amazing. You know, the answers have always been there, but for some reason we're blinded by them. And when we get on these fasts, we start moving obstructions physically and emotionally, keep things flowing, and answers mysteriously appear in front of us. This is the beauty about fasting. It allows all the injuries, whether they're physical or emotional, to surface. And if we embrace them and let them go, just let them flow, we can find a way to heal. And it may not happen on your first fast, it may not happen on your second, may not happen on your third or fourth. It's individual thing for all of us. And this is why we keep teaching about, you know, you got to make that commitment. 7 to 9 years, basically, you got to make a lifetime commitment. Because if we don't, we ain't going to solve anything. We'll just go back to our old ways. And because of the memory within ourselves, we'll be back to where we were in no time. 6 months to a year, you'll be back to where you were, if not worse. So, you know, we got a lot of options to work with. A lot of people have fear of doing these long fasts. Like I'm just blown away that we have about 66 people that we know of that did 108 days. I thought I was going to be the only crazy one doing that, but it's unreal. People, you know, they took the challenge, they took the plunge. You know, they want to make those changes because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you know, doing these mediocre things of just going to eat fruit, take some herbs, ain't going to cut it for most of us. You know, you're going to plateau very quick, as most of us found out. You know, a lot of us have been down those roads, but you know, we're getting people from SAD diets coming on the massive fast, which is another miraculous thing for me. People that have no clue anything about cleansing have jumped in, and a few of them have done 108 days, which never fasted. It's amazing. So there's that intent and emotion from a few of us out there that are doing this is creating that information in the ether for anybody to access it. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. And we'll see more and more of that happening. Because as you put your intent and emotion out there, it's just a frequency. It's not a frequency, sorry. It's just a field strength. Frequency is limited to matter state. I don't like using that word. It's a field strength where we can tap into. And anybody can. Anybody on the planet. It doesn't matter where you are. You don't even have to be on this planet. You can be on Mars or whatever other planets, and you can still tap into it because it's all part of one creation as a whole. The one creation is the whole main plasma, and within all that main plasma, we have all the different individual plasmas of ourselves, of the plants, of the animals, of the rocks, of the planets. Everything that's ever been created is all within the one main plasma. It's just different field strengths of individuality. And it's just amazing that we have access to all that. So dealing with these emotions, it's a huge challenge when we look at all the different types of societies out there. We're being bombarded left, right, and center from the time conception in our mother's tummy, in our mother's womb. We're being bombarded with all these different stresses and information, and it gets all recorded within our physicality. So, you know, we become born, and then all the things start in the physicality, where we start receiving our programming more and more and more. Everywhere we turn, we're being programmed, especially these days. You got radios blaring, TVs blaring. You got schools. We got all kinds of corporations advertising left, right, and center. And the thing is that even though we're not turning the TV on, that information is all around us. And it's has to some degree becomes part of us. And this is why if you've ever heard about the 100th monkey syndrome, it don't matter that you're not actually confronting that certain information directly. You still have access to it, as I said. The 100th monkey syndrome, I don't know the exact story, but there were some monkeys that were found using some kind of tool or washing something in the sea. I don't remember exactly, but a man has never seen them do before. And then somewhere else in another part of the world, monkeys that were never in contact with these monkeys that were doing this firstly started doing the same thing. So that's the 100th monkey syndrome. It's just like the 4-minute mile. Man believed it was impossible to break the 4-minute mile. Then one person did it. I don't remember the guy's name. And I think within a week, other people started breaking the 4-minute mile. So it was that blockage in the belief system. This is how powerful, programming is. They're programming everybody. It's impossible to break the 4-minute mile. Impossible. And people believed it until one guy showed them, you're all wrong, and I'm going to prove you're all wrong. And he did it. He did it. So this is how we chip away at working with our emotions to try and balance them out. We hear all these stories from people, and some people have these huge challenges. I can't find balance with these emotions, this and that. It's impossible or whatever. No, nothing's impossible. Just set your intent and your emotion properly, and continue doing. Continue going through the motions. Fake it till you make it, as some of them say, because eventually all that programming will be expanded. I don't know if we can't erase anything, but we can expand on it and come to a new understanding. When we come to a new understanding is when the time will be able to settle all these issues with emotionally. And if you can settle all your emotions, your physicality has no choice but to follow through and change. So this is where fasting shines like no other. This Master Fast system just makes it simple for us with our protocol and many tools and options to use to keep it part of your lifestyle. One fast ain't going to cut it, folks. You're going to get a lot of benefits for sure, dumping all that crap physically and emotionally with one fast. But you got to continue doing this as part of your life. That's why we say, continue with your dry fasting schedule. Don't ever let that go. These are your resets. Because the main thing that 99.9% of us do is overeat. I still overeat, but compared to 5-7 years ago, nowhere near what I used to eat. What's overeating? Eating when you're not hungry. It's overeating. Eating for any reason other than you're truly, really hungry. And, I don't know if anybody feels true hunger anymore these days because we're so plugged up and numbed out. I don't think many people actually feel true hunger. It's just we go by the clock, by social event, funeral, baptism, wedding, whatever. Time to eat. We do it like clockwork. This is a big challenge in our societies. Everything revolves around food. You go out to a sporting event, go to a movie. It's always food, 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 food. Everywhere you go, you can't escape the food. It's like it's there no matter where you turn. And then we hear about people that are starving on this planet. It's that's pretty intense programming. Pretty intense. With the abundance of food that is available on this planet. This planet could feed easily 10, 20 times the population, easily, with the food that we have available. I think the food that they throw away every year can feed the population a few times over. It's just a programming of what people belief system is has been programmed. You know, so you have these. You know, for instance, they're showing always these people in Africa or wherever else they're starving, and they've you know, the Western countries send over usually what, rice and grains and stuff like that, all the worst stuff possible to put inside of a starving body. Completely plug them up and destroy them. You see some of these kids with these huge bellies, the bodies, it just plugs it right up. It's amazing that I don't know.
That's the staple.
It's just crazy, you know. Where, you know, if we would have people teach these, you know, these poor souls, just a few things, change their belief system, they would be thriving easily in the countries that they are, in their climates and so on and so forth. Like I just don't understand this corporate thing that's programmed these people to keep them in that state year after year after year. It's crazy. It's sad. But it's just a matter of reprogramming these people and solve the issue. You know, really, if we're going to eat physically, you don't need that much food to thrive. Once you clean out the body, the key is to clean it out. But, you know, have a few meals a week, the max is all you really need to thrive. Once you clean up, once, twice, 3 times a week, that's a lot of food. A lot of food. You know, we got to keep going to the bear because that animal's massive, and if it's dry fasting, it's hibernating 7 months a year. In 5 months, you know, look at the size of that thing. It just grows tremendously. And you know, how do we wrap our heads around that? Yeah, when they're eating, they're eating, but it's only 5 months a year. So how does that happen? Well, it's programmed to function that way, and it thrives. It thrives. You know, they're omnivorous, and their main diet is plants. They eat a lot of plants. They eat other animals and fish, but the staples mostly plants. Maybe the polar bears, they don't have access to plants, but environment dictates outcome all the time. Environment dictates outcome. So when we're living in this major city with all these field strengths of all these different corporate foods and so on and so forth, we'll be affected by it. We'll be affected by it. I you know, traveled some of these tropical islands, and these places have awesome fruit. It's just, and the people are eating, you know, rice and all the meats and the grains and all what, you know, they're staring right at the fruit. But in their eyes, it's not food. They have to go to the other things, which corporations have programmed us to believe we need. All goes back to that.
It's addictive too, right?
Very addictive. Once you get people hooked on grains, it's very addictive.
It's your
That for me is one of the most addictive foods is grains.
Especially growing up, most people are eating that food.
Yeah, well, being Italian, we ate it almost every day. Bread, some pasta, whatever. Always something. Just it's just so addictive, but it's so dehydrating, inflammatory, obstructive, gluey. it's so
Addictive.
yeah addictive, but it's I think it's worse than people eating the meats, because well, the people that eat grains eat it every day, sometimes three times a day, every meal they're having it. And this is the issue. You know, I've seen many sick vegetarians and vegans, and the main reason is because they're so addicted to the grains. I was there. I've done that. You know, you got some people who eat animal products and so on and so forth, but you know, they'll have their fruits and vegetables, and but you know, they're not addicted to the grains. They're usually healthier than the vegans who are eating the grains every day, from what I've seen. But you know, at the end of the day, they're both going to catch up to you. The biggest thing that we need to find is, how do we settle our emotions? You know, we're reaching for these foods. We're not hungry, we're eating. And we want to feel something. We want to feel something. That's the reason we're eating, I think. We want to feel. Because that emptiness in the physical stomach we're attributing it to an emptiness with our emotion. But, you know, that's okay. So we go grab something and we eat. But there's still an emptiness here, even though we're full. And then an hour later, we're looking for something else. So the best thing to do is find a way to attribute pain and suffering to the foods we should stay away from completely, would be the best, or absolute minimize. Attribute pain and suffering to them. And, you know, something like a date is pleasure, health, and vitality, or whatever other fruit you like. I love dates. They're awesome. And I talked about this food before. Why would the Creator put this in the desert? A date. Doesn't have much water in it.
The only thing that grows in that country. Well, in that city.
You have to ask, why would he do that if it's not the most hydrating food for that climate?
Mm-hmm.
See, people confuse hydration with water, but Creator don't make mistakes. Not in my eyes. Only man confuses and makes mistakes. But getting back to the emotion, if anybody wants to share any challenges they're having, would be great with their emotions. We have to really, really look within and find out why we have so much challenge, especially coming off a long fast. One of the things that I know, without doubt, because I've done it so many times, once you clear out all that waste matter, whatever you want to call it, plaque, this, that, doesn't matter the name. It's just waste the body does not want or need or can use when you fast, when you do these long fasts. All that stuff within it has memory that you're shedding. And when you clear the GI tract, which is the esophagus, it starts at the tongue, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large colon. Once that all sheds, because that's what actually starts happening on these long fasts, once that's the stuff, the loose stuff, starts coming out, then you start going into the layers of the tissue, and you have the villi, which is very small, finger microscopic, and we're pulling through that during the fast, because when you stop digestion, the body's in a complete elimination mode. So all this stuff starts to loosen up, and we're starting to draw, and eventually it starts to shed like a snake from within. That's why we see people shedding these huge long pieces. It actually starts to shed. And once you start shedding that really crappy layer, and then we start going within interstitial, and we start pulling from there. That's where most of the stuff is. And that's why it seems like it's never ending sometimes, because we're built of it. Our whole body's built of it. Every single cell, that plaque, or whatever you want to call it, it's built of it. So once we shed that all out after this long fast, we have a clear channel of information that we have access to now, that it's not blocked by that other matter state. And that's why you start getting all these emotions coming up. Some people start getting cravings from food they never ate for 20, 30 years or so. And coming off the fast, if you can't find that balance and let that go, you're going to go for those things. Because they come up, the emotions come up because subconsciously, number one, it's trying to put you back in the same state you were. So you're going to reach for all those foods to start building up that layer again, so it can numb you out. If you're not ready and committed to make that change, that's what's happening. You want to build up that layer back up as quick as possible subconsciously. And, intent and emotion is very powerful. People will drive across, who knows, to get something done when their intent and emotion is set. They'll go across the world or whatever. You can throw everything out of your house, go out and get in your car, go drive, get whatever you have to get just to eat it. Because that intent and emotion is the driving force to do whatever that subconscious mind is controlling you to do. If you don't have your proper goals set to take control and say, no, I'm not going back there. I'm stepping forward. I'm done with the past. I've learned, and I'm putting one step forward now. Maybe 3, 4, 5 steps, take a step back, 3, 4, 5 steps, that's okay. Take a breather, have a little taste of this and that, and then we keep moving forward. And then we plan for our next fast. Meanwhile, we're continuing doing these dry fasts, which are essential to keep you resetting daily, weekly, monthly, season change. So, with all these options we have, everybody's will be able to find something that they can work with, something that they can stick with and feel comfortable with, and be able to settle their emotions. Rana's doing 6 days master fast, 1 day eating now. She's been doing that for a while. 50 days. Eating once a week. So that's one option. For somebody else?
It really feels like you're doing full master fast, almost. It really does. It's just one day break a week. It's nothing. And then the next day I do a colonic, wash it off, whatever is left, and then get back on the fast. And I feel like I'm continuing with the fast. It's really nice. But it gives you this break for emotions, basically. Your attachment to the food. Enjoy it, and that's important, of course. Enjoy every bite, and it's not about feeling guilty.
Yeah, never ever feel guilty when you're eating. That's the worst thing. Even if it's something that it's not the best choice,
Yeah.
enjoy it.
You will learn. I mean, yes, it's okay. I mean, you will eat something that's not the best, and and then the next time you learn better and you eat better, because these shorter fasts, they give you more chances to fast and break and fast and break and fast and break. So really
Train yourself.
Yeah. When you do the long one, of course you clean up really well, and then you eat. And if you fall, you can sometimes just feel like tired and sluggish because you don't have a plan for another fast. Whereas if you fall a little bit on these shorter ones, it's okay. Because you have a plan for a fast straight after. If I overeat on Sunday or something, I usually can't overeat too much because I feel it. But if I eat something that's not the best, I feel tired, and then the next morning I feel tired again on Monday. But I do the colonic and I start the juice and I feel back to normal, But if you eat super clean, this will teach you how to eat. It will really teach you how to eat because you will feel everything. So
Yeah, the amazing thing is that we come off these long fasts, we start eating, we really don't have the hunger. And, we eat something and, you're not really hungry. That's my experience coming off fast. But then you want to start eating everything, even though you're not hungry. See, this is the thing. You've eaten and you still want to eat. This is where it's all about the emotion. The breath work is going to really help you continuing the breath work. During and after, just make it part of your life. Practice the Butenko. That's a great breathing technique to raise your CO2, which saturates you with oxygen. CO2 is so important. Everything we've been told is opposite. We got to get rid of CO2. No, we don't get rid of CO2. In plasma space technology, we're talking about CO2 every single day. It's so important. So, it's all this programming, it's just, you got to laugh. You got to laugh because if you do completely opposite of everything we've been taught, you'll be on the right track, pretty much. It's so ridiculous. You got to drink so much water. No, we're not drinking any water. You got to just so many hours of sleep. You got to, you got to rest when you fast. We're doing everything opposite, which is just crazy. It's just crazy. And we're just, showing people that we're on the right track because we're seeing the miracles happening all the time. But the issue is that we're young in this game, and we need a few years to of practicing, of doing, to make this really see how it's going to shine. Like, I already know where it's going. I was doing a lot of fasting when I was raw, continuously, and that was the only thing that really made me shine towards my health. I didn't know about dry fasting back then, or I would have gone even further, but I'm doing it now. So in a few years, 4, 5, 6 years, we're seeing huge transformations in 108 days. But just imagine doing, these fasts continuously, keeping it in your life. You'll be blown away. You won't recognize the person in 3, 4, 5 years. It took me a good 4 to 5 years on raw foods and fasting to really, really clean my GI tract out properly, to where I have a really clean tongue and no residues at all in the morning, and so on and so forth. But just shows you how destructive the high-fat, raw vegan diet lifestyle is. I'll put it right beside the SAD diet, very close. There's not much difference between them. People that are doing the high-fat, raw vegan diet, I'll put it right near the SAD diet. That's how much damage I did to my body. So, you know, so we focus on coming off these fasts with emotion, and we got to have some kind of dialogue. We have to have our goals written down, because once you write it down, it becomes easier to manifest because you put it in matter. You bring the thought out and write it down. And you got to focus on those goals. And you're going to continuously update it, change it, whatever. But, you know, don't erase anything, because when you go look back about 5-6 years, you're going to be surprised
about the changes.
what you've written down and how it's become part of your life. It blow you away. It really it's all part of your intent and emotion once you write that down. If you're coming true from the heart, what you really want, these things will happen. And very accurately, it'll happen in your life. So, you know, make those commitments. It's a long-term thing. 7 to 9 years, but you know, you got to make a lifetime commitment, because you do your 9 years. You don't think you're going to go back to where you were. Most people, if they go that long, they're not going to even think about going back. But 7 to 9 years is a good number. 7 years, you pretty much completely rejuvenated every single cell in your body, except you've decayed it to an you know, worse state, depending on how you live. The femur in our leg is the oldest bone. It takes 9 years to replace. So 9 years is a complete cycle. 9 months for a baby to be developed. 9 is a very magical number in creation. We don't use it by accident.
I mean, it might take less time depending on what you do.
Yep. With plasma science, I think we can do it quicker.
And also in terms of also your food and your lifestyle and your fasting as well.
Yeah, I got my last picture I took of my eyes. I pretty much got rid of my cataracts, which I developed with the high-fat diet. And I was even surprised, because my eyesight's been getting better and better, but I don't do eye photographs very often. One thing I've been doing is doing a lot of eye washing as well, with the herbal tincture for the eyes. I've also mixed it with plasma water, Dan's water, and I put some of the herbs. I just wash them almost every day. It's a very good practice. It'll help anybody if they got any issues with eyes. Doing the eye exercises with it. But you know, guys, we got to stay focused. We got to stay focused. You know, if you are going to believe jumping in and doing your fast and going back to your old lifestyle, you're going to be in for a surprise. You're going to be in for a quick surprise of what happens, how fast the body can go back to its state, and how sensitive the body is once you've cleaned house. It's very sensitive. So it's not going to handle well going back to the old ways. It's going to tell you very clearly, especially the next morning, how you feel. It's not fun if you don't eat you know, clean and less. Less is more. Less is more. V equals P, take away O. Vitality equals power, take away obstructions. A very simple formula Arnold Ehret came up with, and very valid formula. Remove obstructions. Body doesn't have to use power. Vitality goes up. When you're full of obstructions, the body has to use power. Vitality goes down. So simple. So simple. And these obstructions are all tied. Every single one of them is tied to an emotion. Every single time we eat, we're putting emotion into that food. Plasmatic energy exchange is happening with the saliva, changing its state, going to the stomach, the further being processed plasmatically. We call it digestion, but it's actually all being converted in a GAN state where we can use the energy from that food in plasmatic state, not physically. Nothing crosses the walls within our GI tract system. It's all done through energy. So I don't know if anybody's got some questions. It'd be a great time to ask. What do we have? We got a few other people here. MFS member. Who's that? We got Michael. We got Tucci. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Yeah, she finished 81
Yes,
days.
she finished 108 here.
81.
81? Oh, then I'm thinking of somebody else. So many people. So many people. Amazing. Amazing. How are you feeling? Somebody's got a question?
Masterclass member saying he's new and just observing.
Just observing.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah?
Oh, okay, great. I'm feeling good. I finished my 90-day master fast. And
90?
90, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you broke the fast?
Yes, I did break my fast. I wanted to go for 108 days, but I dropped down to 36 kilos and I was feeling a little bit weak. And then I found myself in this eating environment and I broke it in a way that I didn't want to break it, but it happened.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing the hybrid for the last 2-3 weeks. Doing the teas and the juice all day, and then sometimes a salad in the evening or a fruit. I'm trying to do fruit mostly, but sometimes I just want the greens. And then I make a spinach soup, like a raw green soup. I did have avocados a couple of times, and I did have durian one time, and I feel it the next day. Sometimes, like, I wake up with a puffy face, and
Hey, Gina.
it's like swollen
Hi, guys.
eyes, and I feel it immediately. And then the next day for the dinner, I just have a watermelon, and then the following day I feel better.
Your body is very sensitive after these long fasts, and it'll talk to you loud. So just listen. Are you having crazy emotions to eat everything?
Yeah.
Yes.
Me too.
How long did you go?
Oh, I haven't done the master fast for an extended period, but what I picked up from you guys is actually something that has been a game changer, a life changer, is dry fasting.
Oh, okay.
This week I did a lot of dry fasting. I would say almost half the week.
Great.
During my up hours, I was doing, well, obviously you're dry fasting when you're sleeping, but yeah, and that, you know, that you were talking about the vitality. So the vitality in that is that I'm not putting things into my body. I've lost a little weight, and you know, energetically though, I feel through the roof. I happen to be a commercial real estate broker here in New York City, so I'm in the matrix, but I'm having fun. I'm making the best of everything in the moment, in the eternal now. And, you know, Tucci and I are looking to, we feel that the master fast is amazing, like in urban settings, because what you really done is like help us really get the energy and vitality we need in the urban centers. I always say there's like the density and the density, but it would be nice to get back into our roots. Like we met in Hawaii a couple of years ago. So it would be great to get back out into the tropics and, into the fruit, into the high vibration, into the thing. And maybe we'll wind up there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see your friend next week down in Florida, in Port Charlotte, Dr. Morse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Awesome. How's the quality of fruit in New York?
Yeah, very good. I mean, we picked up a durian down in Chinatown the other night, and for me, it was very dense. I think Tuche was very dense. But the things that are really good right now are watermelons.
Yeah.
Watermelons are coming through, and they're. And I mean, I'm having the watermelon. Tuche's on her schedule, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys probably similar to Toronto and New York. Like was it yesterday? I found perfectly ripe mangoes, which is a very rare treat. So $3 each, $3 for one mango. But they were perfectly ripe, which is very hard to find. Very hard in this climate. So, every once in a while we get some stuff happening, but you got to know what you're doing. If you can't find anything, folks, go for frozen berries.
Yeah, wow, that's funny you say that.
In the freezer.
We stocked some frozen berries, and I put it with like a banana and blend it with water
Nice cream.
and make it, even like really thin.
Oh, smoothie?
Yeah, no, even thinner, like almost like a liquid, So it stays kind of like astringent almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very astringent.
Yeah, put some juice in there or some coconut water and blend it up. It's, there's always a way. And then, we're dry fasting, so your meals are way less than they used to be if you're practicing dry fasting.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be eating every day, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
You got to limit even each day when you're eating. 2 meals a day should be maximum.
No, I mean I'm doing maybe one. How many meals did I have a week this week? Maybe 4 or 5 meals this week. Yeah.
The whole week, excellent.
Yeah, and it's so proportional too. And as you lower the food, your vitality, your energy, your frequency, your love vibration is you're more connectable, right? Yeah, sometimes I feel like isolated, but when I'm eating, right, because it's like, but when you want to connect when you're in that love vibration, right?
Yeah, this is the challenge in society because there's food everywhere. That's the challenge we all have.
Oh, yeah. I'm listening to you speak about it too. Like on we live in New York, and every single corner, it takes something like 3 lifetimes to experience every restaurant in New York City.
Wow.
I mean, it can't be more in your face than that, right?
Yeah. You guys are similar to us. You got more population than we do in Toronto, but we're very similar. And it's just everywhere you turn, you can't get away from it. So we do the best we can, but once you keep practicing and practicing, it kind of you get used to it, and it doesn't really affect you as much. So it's just a matter of being true to yourself and your goals and focusing on those, because every time we go off track, we're going to feel it.
Yeah.
And,
we accept it at that point, and you surrender to all that is, and you say, you know what, we were designed in perfection. Everything has been perfect. We're unique expressions of source energy. We're just on the earth plane, trying to experience this. Everyone experiences a lot of suffering. I think suffering is good. I think suffering brings you the light, right? So if you don't experience the suffering, then you don't get the light. So, but when I love you so much because your truth, we say in Kundalini, Satnam, your truth, when you speak your truth and you get up here every week and you speak your truth, both of you, all of a sudden you open doors and avenues for people that are just say, this is crazy, because the conditioning and the, all the structure and the belief systems and stuff like that. and they hear you speaking of it, and you hear all these testimonials. And week in and week out, I'm kind of in the background. I haven't come to the forefront, but I see such the transformation in Tuchek on so many levels, you know. And I just feel so blessed and have so much gratitude, which is really the connection to the higher self for what you're doing. And you know, the journey always comes back to you, right? Being you to the fullest and loving yourself. And then that's just the projection. So when you guys project every week, everyone is feeling that love. So I'm not an official part of the Master Fast family, but I've been observing and kind of like a watcher and just and actually partaken. And I really have so much love and gratitude for what you're doing. It's just magnetic. I'm surrounded with light. Yeah.
You guys are married, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because you are part of the Master Fast. If you're married to your wife, you know what I mean. But yeah, you know, this is why we decided we got to do something. You got to have a connection every week, consistently, because people are lost. Okay, if you're not here Saturday night, what are you going to do? You're going to go out with your friends and go party and go do this, that, and eat this and that.
Right.
If you can't be happy and satisfied with just being in a square box, you can't be happy out there.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So once we can be happy in a little square box right here, you can be happy anywhere. That's what we're teaching here. And food is a big part of this. So
that's the external world, you know, to satisfy the void that we feel sometimes. And so the community that you built by doing this is you know, instead of reaching for it, you know, whatever it may be, you know, like SAD, Standard American Diet or whatever, you have a community, and the nutrition of the talk and the conversion and the love that's filling. That's filling, right?
Yeah, I'm blown away by people's stories. Every day, almost something I'm reading. Another one, you know, little miracle here. It just blows me. That's what keeps me going, because it's something I would have never expected. I knew it can help people, but I had no idea we were going to go.
I love how your turn went into plasma too, like, you know, going into the things that you can't see, not the physical.
We're not working with physical. This is where we're using physicality. We're using matter. We're not working on the physical. This is where I've been trying to convey that it's all through the intent and emotion is why this is what it is. All these things that are Master Fast have always been around. All the different parts, they've always been around. So when you have gained that understanding of what plasma is and how we've structured it and the intent and emotion behind it, that's why we're achieving what we're achieving. And you know, it's not for everybody. Nothing's for everybody. But for the people who jump on board, the transformations are mouth-dropping. Just blow you away. Just blow you away. Like Tucci, you know, you went through a huge metamorphosis, huge. And you're going through another one now. This is where we need to really have that understanding, folks. When we start eating, we're not done. We're starting another metamorphosis. And that'll take at least as long as the fast, at least. So we do the best we can to stay on track and eat clean and so on and so forth, and continue and focus.
I'm planning my second MFS now. I want to do it like in a month, like at the end of May when I come back to Florida.
Already another one?
Yeah, I want to do it because I mean, I don't know how much I can go again. I mean, because I'm not going to be able to like give it a lot of break. It's just going to be a 1 month break.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you that, like how much time do you suggest for a person to give between 2 fasts?
It really depends on your emotion. Usually 1 month after a long one is too short for most people. I would probably wait 2-3 months at least, and, you know, but or you know, go into one of the mini ones where you play around with a few days here, a few days there. Meanwhile, you're continuing that dry fasting. But now it's still early for you. It's only, what, a couple of weeks or so that you finished? Yeah. So you're gonna go through a lot of emotions. So
Yeah.
now you got to stay focused. The first couple of weeks, 3 weeks, but then you might go into deeper cravings and stuff. Just be ready and accept, embrace, and just let it flow and continue and stay focused, because this is the challenging part for people. And you know,
True.
if you fall down a little bit here and there, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Just continue. But just if you're gonna fall, go for the better choices. You know, a little bit of steamed this or that, or a baked beet or something. Don't go for the real crazy stuff, because it's not a good thing to do after a long fast. There's good cheats and there's not so good cheats. But you know, at the end of the day, we need to make it a part of our lifestyle. So you're gonna have to find something where it's going to be comfortable for you to stick with. I would wait a little bit to hold on before you jump into another, like even 3-4 weeks or whatever. Just hold on.
Yeah. Why do you want to do it again?
I wanted to do another one like at the end of May. But yeah, I'm gonna see if I feel ready. I'm sorry.
Why are you thinking of doing it again?
Because I feel like there's a long way to go. I feel like the healing is infinite. You can get more and more, and I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
Like I've been a raw vegan for the last 3 years, and I never ever got this much of benefit from my body during the master fast.
You feel better on the master fast compared to eating, don't you?
Yes, for sure.
That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, me too. I saw a clarity of mind in her. You know, her emotions were not emotionless, but you would say like very focused, very loving. The magnetic realm around her, even her aura expanded. You know, it was like just it was nice. And by the way, and so now that you're off it, it's not like, you know, there's any feeling or emotion that's different on my part too. It's just an embracing of that when you go back to food, that these are some of the things that come along with it. And it's I'm like a master fast husband testimonial.
Hey, you're part of it.
Yeah.
These days I'm experimenting more with like becoming a fruitarian. I just want to eat fruits so that my digestion is really easy. But sometimes I just want greens so bad.
Yeah.
And then
I went through, after my long one, I went through cravings of greens after a couple of weeks, and just settle them. Just settle them. You may not be ready for that. And, you know, when you're looking at things, we got a long way to go. Don't look at it like that. It's just day to day. We live in the now. You made the decision, you know, just live day by day and just do what you got to do. The healing comes as you're seeing, and it comes pretty quick as you're living this type of lifestyle. It's just a decision that we need to make each day. Just put another foot forward, another foot forward, another foot forward, and we'll get there. We'll get there. Miracles happen in a few years. Miracles, like I mean, complete transformation. We're seeing miracles happen in weeks. You're going to be blown away in a few years when you stick on the path. Just stay focused. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, the best way to learn what food is best for you and whether or not you're ready for fruit is to fast and eat and fast and eat. I would say, like, do the shorter ones. Do the shorter ones. Have a break, maybe whenever you want. You know, choose whatever many master fasts we have. Whatever works for you, but have a break from the fast and eat and just observe yourself, because you really want to observe and see how you feel and listen to your body, right? And this is a really good way.
Yeah, lots of fasting and breaking. That's why
you feel good. You still feel good. It depends how much you fast and how much you eat, right? But you will feel good if you fast most of the time. You still feel good, better than eating every day, that's for sure.
Going back to eating every day, folks, will be a losing battle after a long master fast. The body doesn't need that food, the amount of food anymore. That's the problem. And it's not a problem, it's where we want to go. Not only you feel great, you save money, this, that, and everything else. It's all positive. I want to share experience with you too.
so I've been doing a lot of juicing, like lemons, limes, a lot of astringents, and that's been working. But in the process, I learned that a lot of the greens, they bring in carbonatic value. So when you have greens and sprouts and stuff like that, when you eat them or ingest them, you're bringing carbonatic value. So I stood away from them. I dipped to around 150 pounds. And then I had, all of a sudden I had trouble like running. I'm an athlete. I play soccer. I'm very active. I'm 43, 44 years old. And to the point where I had shortness of breath, like climbing one step of stairs. And so finally this morning I said, you know what? I'm going to go down the road here in Brooklyn and see a Western doctor, a medical doctor, and just do a test and see how my vitals were. And they were okay. And they said that I have, I thought maybe I had jaundice because the color of my skin was changed. And I thought maybe it was the citrus, but it was, what is it called?
Anemia.
Anemia, yeah. So I have a little bit anemic. And once I found that out, and she, the lady said, you need iron and you need, what's the other thing? Niacin. I had some greens today, like a blue-green algae. And I had that, and automatically I regained a lot of strength. Wanted to get your take on, like, I know nutrition is a big dupe, but I felt like putting greens and stuff like that back into me kind of fueled me a little today.
How much fasting have you done in your life?
Quite a lot over the last 8 years. I've been a raw vegan for the last, I don't want to label myself, but I've been a raw vegan for the last 8 years with very, very, I would say, not even 0.5% cooked.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Yeah. And I've been very, pretty clean. But now I've lost, I'm around 150. I'm 6'1". So, and I feel like, maybe I don't want to say I want to go back to eat to gain weight and, the belief system BS, but I feel like I need something to kind of just like, power me on again. And so, the greens were very helpful because of the lack of, iron. Maybe I have an iron deficiency now. So just want to get your eye.
What types of fasting have you done? Like the dry fasting, how long ago did you start? And what types have you done in these 8 years?
I've been doing it in conjunction with Tuche on since she started the Master Fast. I've been doing the dry fasting. I saw how you were doing some of the dry fasts, which are amazing. And to me, they've been very helpful tools. And then, let's say at the end of a 24-hour or a 36, then I'll go back to just juicing. But I'm very active, playing soccer. And now I'm losing wind. So maybe is there a happy balance in between? Or, if I choose a life of fasting, can I not be in the physical realm, doing physical things as much? Or is there something I can add, into the equation?
It's going to be a long master fast. The issue when you start being diagnosed with things that your body doesn't have, like B12 and from being anemic and iron and so on and so forth, it's not so much of it's not in our diet. It's because the obstructions in our body are not allowing the proper field interactions to create what your body needs. So the issue is always obstructions, always. That's why when we do these long fasts, we start correcting all these problems. And when we're eating, it's not an issue that we're going to be able to correct it, because you can add and add and add. And, you feel better by taking the blue-green algae, this and that, but you're not solving the root cause of the issue, is what I'm trying to say. The root cause is always the same answer. We got to go back to fasting. And sometimes it's not going to be to your timetable, because it may be a year, 2-3 years work to get to that point where you want to be, in not something immediately where you take a supplement, you feel better. These issues only mask the problem. They don't solve the root problem. So the same issue is you got to be able to clean that GI tract really deep at the cellular level to be able to resolve these issues. That's why I was asking, you said you've been raw vegan for about 8 years or so, but have you done other juice fasts and stuff in those years?
Yeah, I've done lots of like citrus juice fast, all different types of stuff. Yeah.
How long? What was your longest?
1 week.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe like a week, maybe.
Yeah. You got to clean. You got to dig. You got to dig. We've had raw vegans and so on and so forth, even fruit eaters for many, many years. Get on a master fast, and if you've read them, and they're still cleaning up like crazy. You need to go to those deep levels when you're ready. In the meantime, do some greens, stuff like that. When you're ready, you got to jump on board and commit to one of those long ones, or do some of the mini ones here and there. Maybe a month on, month off, whatever. Find something where you'll be able to start digging into those deeper layers. I'm going
to follow Tuche's lead on the dance floor.
Maybe next time we'll do it
together. The thing about energy levels, this, that, and the other thing, I'm doing these long dry fasts, and I'm doing, I'm riding my bike on hilly terrain in my area, 7-8 days dry fasting. I don't have all the energy on those 7 or 8 days, but I'm able to do it.
Yeah, right.
And then as soon as I go back on the food, the energy level goes way up, more than where it was before I started. So, it's just a matter of how much you want it, how far you want to go with it. It's nothing to do with what we've been taught. It's all about those obstructions. Once we can clear those obstructions, you will see the energy level going up.
How do I retrain my mind if I'm kind of like a Raw's Law guy?
Yeah.
You know the deal, right?
I was there, buddy. I was there.
Okay. So now I'm willing. I've done master fast for like day or two with the pasteurized grape juice and that. So how do I make the transition into that? Is it just it's all in the head, obviously? Yeah. So I just if your wife's transformation hasn't convinced you, how do you expect me to convince you? Seriously. No, but listen, I was one of the most anal raw foodists, honestly. I over 9 years. I can't remember exactly, but it was well over 9 years. I would not touch anything cooked intentionally. A few times at these raw food potlucks, there was people put things cooked, and I was really, really pissed off back then, but it was ridiculous. So I was really, really, into that. And it's all good. It's all good. But from what we know now, eating raw is better when you're going to eat. No doubt. Stick to mostly raw, all raw if you can. And for most people are not going to do that, and that's okay. And most people are not going to be fruitarian, and that's okay. If you're going to have anything cooked when you're eating, there's better ways to utilize it. The problem with cooking is the fibrous stuff. It's in vegetables even, or grains especially. The vegetables, it's obstructive. Fruit, for some reason, even the cooked stuff, doesn't do that. But when we go into the vegetables, or we go into the grains, or we go into the heavier meats and proteins, or the milk products cooked, it's a disastrous thing to our body. So if we wanted to make a vegetable soup and cook it, it would be better to only take the broth and not eat the cooked fibrous stuff. Like we're making a tea, for example, and then maybe put some raw vegetables in it and warm it up, and so it's like a cooked broth with raw vegetables or something. That would be a better way to go about it. So we can utilize the energy of the cooked food, because the energy of the cooked food is more. That's why it's so addictive, because there's more energy in it. But the problem is the obstructions that the body can't handle for whatever reason. So we can juggle and have the best of both worlds. So when we want to clean, we know we got to go into the cook side, because best version of master fast for a slightly anemic.
The best version.
The actual
Just do it.
You got to dig into those layers, my friend.
Got it. Get rid of the obstructions. Yeah.
You gotta dig into those
Yeah.
layers. In the meantime, just have some greens and stuff or whatever until you're ready to dig in there. You know,
You should have energy. Sorry.
yeah, no, go. I just,
You should have energy though on the massive fast. Most people do. Most people do.
Yeah.
Very few people are very sick or maybe chemo and stuff like that, and they need to rest. But most of us have more energy, right? Richard, right?
Yes, for sure. I was sleeping only 6-7 hours, and I was waking up with more energy.
Yeah.
Now I'm sleeping more. And
Yeah.
I'm not waking up as vibrant as I used to on MasterFast. I really miss it. I want to do it again.
digestion uses a lot of energy. And that's why if we can train ourselves, it's going to take years, folks. It's not going to happen overnight. We got to train ourselves to less is more. For example, I have mango. I'm not hungry tomorrow. I'm not hungry the day after. Okay, the day after I'll have another mango. That's where we want to get to. So that high level.
You need to have free will and choose when you wish to. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not easy. It's not an easy thing because of our environment, but this is where we want to train ourselves because that's how you're going to be able to thrive and get those energy levels up where everything's clean and flowing. You know, how do these people, there are people, whether you believe it or not, doing it a breatharian type of lifestyle. They're not eating or drinking. They're doing it out there. Where are they getting that energy from? It's not because we're lacking anything. We are in a plasmatic state. There is no lack. There is no lack.
Right.
We are abundant as the universe because we are a reflection of the universe and we work on the principles of the universe. So we have access to infinite amount of whatever we need. Believe it or not, folks. Believe it or not.
Only our physical mind limits us in terms of
Yeah.
we have access to. And once we start getting into that Godhead, it's then it's the emotions are leading. They're out ahead of the game, right? And so it's like you're kind of dancing in that eternal now, which is beautiful. But it's just
your body is even capable of making the elements, minerals that you're lacking.
Exactly.
By itself,
Of
right?
course. Yes.
So there's
Yes.
no such a thing as deficiency of something.
No.
Obsessed.
It's our programming, folks. We are so programmed, so deep through our parents, ancestors, so on, through our environment. It's not an easy task, but it's not impossible. Everything is possible. So I'm not there yet. We just keep working at it. We keep working at it. We keep working at it. And slowly but surely, it'll start coming and we'll start seeing the results, you know, that we're eating way less than we ever have and we're feeling better and better as time goes on. It's going to take whatever time it takes. Each one of us will have a different path and experience, and it's okay. It doesn't matter. So, you know, in the meantime, that if that blue-green algae is helping you for now, keep doing it, but keep at that, retraining that programming, keep your dry fasting, keep it going, because the dry fasting,
wow, yeah.
that's the biggest reset.
Wow, just explosive in terms of energy, except for the, you know.
And it's an acidic experience. It's, see, because we keep using the terms of chemistry because this is what people understand, but folks, it's so limiting. It's so limiting and it's not accurate. It's a small viewing window chemistry of acid alkaline. The body doesn't work on acid alkaline. It works on fields of plasmatic energy. So, you know, when we're going into dry fast, if we're looking at chemistry, yeah, we're going in a very high acidic state, but we're getting amazing healing. So it doesn't make sense of what chemistry is saying, that don't eat acid foods. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Because that's where the healing happens if we're looking at chemistry. So we can't look at only chemistry. Since we've been indoctrinated with it, we'll use it, but don't use it as your Bible that, you know, we have to go alkaline. No. If you put a sugar into a GAN state, it's 1 pH. If you put salts into GAN state, it's 14 pH. There's your scale. So what's fruit? It's all acid. It's all acid if you measure it on a pH scale. But when you put it in your body, it's the most balancing. See, those are the proper words we should be using. Imbalance and balance. And I'm intertwining using both, but because few people think it's that simple. Imbalance and balance. They want to know the pH and the acid. It's too much of the mental mind, the Luciferic mind, I call it. You get caught into that. The Luciferic intellect, sorry. We get caught in that, and we're going to want to know how this works and how that, and what pH and this and that and the other thing. See, I found putting salts in the body, they're more corrosive than the sugar, because you're on the 14 end, and 14 burns just like the 1. It's just on the other end. It still burns. You get caustic on you, it'll burn right through your bone, right? Mm-hmm. So these things about chemistry, we got to be cautious how we use them. We have to expand our knowledge and come to a new understanding that it's all about imbalance and balance. That's plasma. It's the give and take to find balance. That's all it's doing all the time. Whatever you need, it will give you. Whatever you don't need, it will take from you. And it finds that balance. What's that?
That's exactly what you're saying. It's just in an energy form. It's the
okay.
Right? If something goes too far right, it's got to come back to the left. If something goes too far to the left, it's got to come back to, you're going to come back into the center. Yeah.
It's that continuous dance, that elegant dance in the universe of finding that balance. So this is where we need to go, folks. We got to find balance. And if we still continue to think about deficiencies and this, and we're lacking, we're not going to be in tune with how the universe principle of creation works. That's why I'm trying to give us a new understanding of let's try and let that go. We know about that. We've lived that. Didn't work for us. Let's come to a new understanding of balance and imbalance and balance. Imbalance and balance. So we focus on that only, and let's put the body in a state where it can utilize and have access to the abundance of what the universe actually has available for us. It's abundant. It's infinite. There's no lack in the universe. None. If you look at the atom, which that's another false thing, it's actually a plasmatic field. What they call the atom is a field strength. It's an actual plasma. It has the electrons moving within. Okay? Where are those electrons getting their energy to continuously move infinite, forever? Where do they get it? We're made out of that. It's because there is no lack. It's available. It's raining abundance of information and energy all the time, 24/7, even though there's no time. So, this is where we're all brainwashed. We're all brainwashed. We don't believe it. Or today, instantly, we can all stop eating because we know it's all available. But we're not there yet. But I know it's possible, but it's not 100% in my subconscious to end the physical food eating. But it's possible because people are doing it and they've achieved it. So we talk about these things. We associate ourselves with people doing these things, and slowly but surely we'll retrain that subconscious mind that one day, I don't need to eat today. I don't need to eat tomorrow. I don't need the day after that. Oh, 3-4 weeks have gone by. I feel fantastic. I don't need anything. I have everything I need. That's what we're trying to teach. How long is it going to take? Whatever. It doesn't matter. No time anyway. So this is what we're trying to do, folks. That's what Master Fast is. Tapping into that energy, which is plasma, which is available all the time. We're doing it anyway because we're not eating 24 hours. So what are we doing the rest of the time? We're tapping into that energy.
Yeah.
So why is it that we have to go back? Because we're subconsciously brainwashed that we need to, through our ancestors and through our environment and so on and so forth. So,
it's practice.
Yeah, we gotta practice. We're gonna hit ourselves in the head a few more times. It's okay. It's okay.
What's the biggest dupe words on the planet? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. who created these words? And breakfast. So we are breaking a fast of 8 hours of sleep. But these words are the most ingrained words in our lives. If we get rid of those words and in practice and in theory, then what is left? Then you have time to connect with yourself and be the best version of yourself and be a loving vehicle and truly come what you came here to align with yourself. You came to the earth plane to experience all these beautiful things. Why do I want to be in chains of the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? I mean, that's just a spiritual way of looking at it. But
drink your water. You forgot that one. Drink your water.
Yeah, that's true, right?
That one there, I was blown away by that one.
Mm-hmm.
I was, because I went the other way, listening to people, you got to drink more water and alkaline water and all that. It was the worst thing. It just strips your body. And I came to the conclusion after I started dry fasting very quickly, this is all a facade. We don't get no freaking hydration from water. It strips you of hydration.
My discovery with that was in the last few months too. And Puche was saying, water? Don't drink. Are you crazy? Why are you drinking water? Most of the water on the planet is like crazy anyway. And then you have all these companies that are putting out alkaline waters, 9.5, 10, but they're stripped anyway of all the nutrients and enzymes in the first place. The only place I would drink water if I needed to, if I was like thirsty, would be Mount Shasta. We drank water out there from a spring, Otherwise, the only other places would be from an organic, unpasteurized juice, or like for on a fast or something like that. That's where you get the source of water. But
yeah, the mountain water or something like that. An occasional glass of water here and there, no big deal. But you don't need water at all. You don't need. If you stick to mostly raw, as soon as you get into the cooked, if you have salts, you're going to get thirsty. And then you're going to drink. And that drinking is not going to solve the issue. It only makes it worse.
That's a bit. Yeah, that's right.
The salt dehydrates you in the water. It's crazy.
Yeah, you sweat like a balloon. I'm sure many people have this experience.
Yeah.
I experienced that. And only when I eat watermelon, it hydrates me again. Like, when I drink water, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
folks, if you're in the desert, this is hydrating.
Yeah, no, I love dates too. Yeah.
But I keep saying this is the most hydrating fruit in the environment it grows. In the environment it grows. It's not the most hydrating in Toronto. But you know what I'm trying to say? In the environment it grows. Best food to eat is local if you can, fresh and ripe. That's the best. Mm-hmm. Yes, we don't have that luxury, especially where we are, where you guys are. So we do the best we can. But I'm just saying, to me, this is the most hydrating fruit. The Creator did not make a mistake. No way.
So I've heard the dates were available in the desert. So when you break your 40-day fast, you go right. So would you break if you did like a 5 or a 10-day dry fast, you go right to the date, or you go to like an astringent liquid, something electronic?
I kind of stick to the bubbly, but occasionally I'll break it with a tea. Sometimes I'll even break it with fruit myself. I'm not telling you guys to do that. This is after years of dry fasting.
Right.
Follow the system as we teach.
Yep.
Use the bubble. You do your enema, do the bubbly. Start your dry fast. End your dry fast with the bubbly. Hydrate a little bit with some tea or juice slowly, and then after a few hours, do another enema. This will keep you going and change your body from dehydrated state to a hydrated state over the months and years. Like we've seen people actually in 108 days become way more hydrated. People who have actually measured. So the system works. I've mentioned I regained 3/4 inch of my height on my 108-day fast. And a few other people the past few weeks, they mentioned that they grew as well. They regained their height. So the system works. The system is hydrating.
Why does the height kick up after the
hydration?
Oh, your expansion.
Of course.
Yeah.
When you hydrate, if you look at the cells like two magnets, you have the same poles, they repel, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, if you look at somebody whose blood is not somebody who's not well, they're all sticking together. Okay, so when they're hydrated, the energy is stronger, they repel. So when you have a stronger field strength, when you're hydrated, you get more of a repel, so everything expands. The thing about gravity shrinking, that's all bull crap. It's through dehydration. So when you rehydrate, everything expands and you go back to your regular height wherever you're supposed to be. It's nothing about gravity pushing on you. That's false. Because everything has gravity and magnetical field. It has to have both. You can't only have one. So we're continuously finding that balance. There's nothing pushing on us like that we're told. That's not accurate. So we want to hydrate. And I had lost my height going through that, high fat, sad diet, whatever you want to call it. I shrank. And I was freaking out. Holy man. And then I mentioned the story. One of my yoga teacher, my first yoga teacher, he came and a surprise visit. I haven't seen him for like 2 years. It was, I think, near the end of my 108 or right after. And he goes to me, "You're taller." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You grew." I go, "No." I went to measure myself. I go, "Holy shit, he's right. 3/4 of an inch."
Wow.
Like I didn't notice myself. He noticed. I wouldn't have known if he didn't tell me that. And a few people have mentioned. So I'm reminding everybody, measure yourself before and after your 108 days or whatever you do. See if there's a difference, because you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. So the hydration, just think of each one of your vertebrae. You have 33. If they expanded just 0.5 millimeter, that's about 1/2 inch. If it's 1 millimeter, that would be over an inch. That's a lot. That's a lot. So it's not inconceivable to think how it can happen. That's through hydration. It's amazing and it's a beautiful thing. So, folks, everything's possible. Everything's possible. When you see people's legs straightening out, hips straightening out, ribs straightening out, cancer's melting, this, that. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and regarding the energy, you were asking if you would have enough energy to work out, and we had Salome, which is a professional tennis player, and she did
108 days. And she threw up in the middle of a tournament.
Huh. In the middle of a match, you mean? Like a
match, yeah.
Oh.
She had to go throw up in the middle of it. It was a tournament. But, if you guys have ever experienced in a fast, if you have to throw up, you throw up and your energy level goes up. It's just the body has to dump.
Production coming out, yeah.
Yeah, either way, it has to come out one way. So you have to embrace everything. You got to understand, folks, when you're in a fast, the body knows what to do. Have the trust and the faith. It may not feel good sometimes, but believe me, once you go through it, you're going to come out stronger on the other end. Like, Tucci, you've lost a lot of weight, and that's okay, because as time goes on and you do your next one or in a year or so, whatever, you will not lose as much. I can assure you, if you keep eating clean, once you fast for a while, your body does not lose at the same rate because it's built on proper materials. And see, like myself, I'm usually about 150 to 160. That's where I float around with because of all my fasting. I dry fast, I'm going down more, and 150 to 160. And the lowest I've ever been was on my 108 days was 137 pounds. I'm 5'7.5", my height. So, people, even when I was a raw foodist, the first, it was over 1 year, almost 2 years before I gained my weight back. I went down to like about 140 when I started, and then it took me a while to gain my weight. But people used to look at me and go, "How come you're not skinny?" Like everybody else would be real thin. And it's just, I've always done fasting from 1990. I've always kept, pretty much like clockwork, every season change, I would do a fast of at least 7 days. And then I did many 30, 40, up 60 days. I've done many. All the time, in all those years, what kept me going was the fasting. I wish I knew about dry fasting back then, but it wasn't meant to be because it was all a learning thing to come to where we are now. And it was all an experience, and it was an amazing experience. I wouldn't change it for the world because I learned what works through all that experience and through the amazing teachers that I've had. Lots of them.
Your experience has opened up the doors for many too, just by sharing your experience. It's like,
Yeah.
So now I know where to go. I'm all in on it. If I'm in a poker hand, I'm going all in. If
Yeah,
life
yeah.
is a poker hand,
Let go of the cook thing, really. Just let it go.
Yeah.
When you're eating, eat mostly raw. Eat 100% raw. Excellent.
Right.
But
when I'm fasting, I'm pulling in pasteurized. Yeah.
Liquid drain.
There's just no comparison.
It calls it.
It doesn't matter what people saying out there. There you can't even measure the difference in potency. It's so much more. It's like night and day. Raw juices, I've done long raw grape juice fasts. They don't have any power. This is when I was in anal raw foodist, because my first fast was pasteurized Concord grape juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that was left in the back. Raw is raw. That's where I was. I wouldn't even think about using cooked juice ever again until I awoken to new understanding of what cooked juice was, and it put me back to 1990 of the power it had and what it did to me. Where I ended up in bed for 2 years, but that's another story. So that was the whole new understanding, where, oh my God, no wonder. Now we can, do this and that, and holy geez, we can support, because now we have new understanding with herbs, this and the other thing, into dry fasting, bang, 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 and we come up with master fast. That's all it is. Yeah. It's all the different things that happen. And
I have an amazing emotional connection too to grape juice. It's funny because as a little boy, I grew up in the Bronx, in an Italian and German family in country club, and I remember drinking the grape sodas. They had the Welch's grape sodas, and now all of a sudden it has good memories, fond memories. The connection with food. And all of a sudden, fast forward, 40 years or 35 years, mm-hmm. I'm here in Brooklyn and I'm drinking the champagne. And I'm saying this is the same thing.
Yeah.
the same freaking thing. And it's like, what? Yeah, exactly.
It's even easier for you to do it because you have an emotional connection.
I can drink the baking soda by itself. Like if it has a little liquid. I love the alkalizing baking soda too. It's just unbelievable. For me, it tastes so great.
We got everything, man. We got pudding, we got the bubbly, we got everything. You know what I mean? It's like grape juice. I don't know if you were around. We had the Lolas, frozen Lolas.
No, what are those? Yeah.
It was a frozen thing, all grape juice, and it was shaped like a triangle type of thing. Maybe it was before your time. These things, they were amazing. Grape was my favorite. When we were kids growing up, it was called the Lola.
No kidding, Gina.
or the popsicles, the grape popsicles.
Yeah. Those I'm familiar with. Yeah.
So I don't know of any kids that don't love grape.
That's true. Yeah.
But, it's not only grape. We can use so many other fruits. I can guarantee you guys, we can go in different countries all around the world, and we can find a fruit that'll work on Master Fast. We just cook it. We're not limited to grape. We can use cherry. We know a lot of them already, but there's probably so many more that we don't know about.
We're going to be in Turkey this summer for a wedding, so I think Tuche, you're going to have to transfer into Vishne.
Yeah,
it's like a dark cherry. Yeah.
Who was it? Anna. I can't remember her last name. Anna did. She asked me, "Could I do watermelon juice?" I go, "Try it. Let me know." She did. Amazing results she had.
Wow.
She juiced it and cooked it. Amazing. She loved it better than the grape.
Great.
And she said it worked better for edema, for people. It got rid of it much quicker. And so, it's not, she says it was very powerful. So, we can play with all these different things. There's so much we can do, so much to expand. We just scratch the surface. We just scratch the surface and understanding. But it's a beautiful thing what's happening with people's healing. Beautiful. Like your story you shared, Tucci, is it's amazing. And so many other people have gone through the same thing. You're eating raw, eating fruit all these years. You can't break through. you know, the inflammation's still there and so on, digestion, nothing.
There's a plateau when you're on the.
And I truly experimented with everything. The zapper, the turpentine, the urine therapy. I mean,
I have everything that you've done and more. I've spent a fortune testing things, a fortune.
Yeah, me too.
You know.
And I really resonate with what you're saying with like we store an emotion with everything we eat. Because as I was shedding the pounds and the kilos and everything, I was craving meat for after so many years of not eating it. And I think the obstructions that were in my body were related to those meats. So when they were leaving my body, I was thinking of them again, and I was watching these videos where I used to be like, oh, it's not good, like that's like a living being, and I wouldn't be able to watch it. But during Master Fast, I was like, wow, that feels so, like that looks so good. And I was like, constantly before going to bed every night, remember,
we
right?
were watching.
I was watching food videos and like making meat. Yeah. And now I can't look at them again. During Master Fast, as I was shedding, I was constantly watching those videos.
When I used to have a TV, I used to do a lot of that, watching all kinds of programs of chefs, everything. Didn't matter what they were cooking. And I was fasting, and it was satisfying.
Yes, right.
So
exactly. And I was joining her like in this co-creation. Every night we were looking at like all these cheese and like, oh my God. But it was satisfying. And then there would be times like I would take like food if I was doing like a dry fast, and I would like put it in my mouth just to get that initial taste and just spit it out. And I felt, to me, that was just breaking, you know, that was just breaking the fact that I had to ingest it, you know. It was incredible. Like this last 6 months has been just an amazing, like we've been guinea pigs, and we were so grateful. We were so grateful to both of you. Yeah. I can't even put it in words. Yeah.
It's okay. The thing is, folks, that when you are, for example, watching these cooking shows or whatever, or just visualizing or dreaming that you're eating these things, folks, you're getting the energy from those foods without the physicality and the obstructions.
See that?
It's the same.
No guilt. No guilt.
No guilt. No guilt. It's a beautiful thing. If you can master that, you'll only have to eat again. You've listened to what I just said. If you can master that visualization all the time, as your meal time, you don't have to eat no more. You'll get the energy from the food by not eating it, just visualizing it. So this is what we're working toward. This is plasma. This is what we're talking about. Because at the end of the day, it's all energy. It's all energy. So why would we want to put it within us and go through all that physical work, which is draining, when we can do it without that draining, just pure energy? You know, this is what we're talking about. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
So yeah, that's great, you know, amazing transformation you've been through, Tucci, and you know, just stay focused now. It's all good, you know, stay connected.
For sure. Yeah. Even through these days, I mean, making the hybrid Master Fast, I'm still getting a lot of benefits.
Oh, and yeah.
It's so much better than I mean, it's not even comparable. It's just I want to continue to, like, I know that I have those nerve rings on my eyes. Like, I want to see them getting away. Yeah. So, like, I want to keep doing it.
That'll come with time, baby. That'll come with time.
Yeah, like I just somebody wanted to see my eyes, so I posted them. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes, I saw.
You know, I'm looking at it. I got rid of quite a bit of saw. I was impacted, if you look. And my nerve rings slightly faded a bit, yes, which I was surprised. This is from when I just started all this, which is about, when was that, 2014, those other eye photos. So, you know, it's
takes years, like,
you know, and, you know, this past winter has been a bit rough on me. I've been slacking off on certain things and exercise and so on, but, you know, we just keep going. We just keep going. We keep going. You can make changes. And, you know, some people have changes quicker than others. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. we're not racing with anybody else. We have to do it with ourselves. And it's okay, whatever it is. It's our experience. It's a beautiful thing, no matter what it is. Embrace it all. And when it's our time to go, it's our time to go. Embrace it. Don't worry about it. But it's a beautiful thing, you know, like watching everybody going through this metamorphosis. It's just amazing. You know, that's what keeps me going. Keeps me going, everybody's story.
My daughter once told me that, you know, in terms of metamorphosis, the butterfly is a perfect example of the human condition on the planet right now, or the human experience or essence. So you have the butterfly, and I mean, it starts off as like a cocoon, right? And then you have 100 dominant cells out of 1 trillion cells that says, I'm going that way. All the rest of the 1 trillion cells follow. And then you have that transformation, right? So it only takes one energy morsel idea concept to change the whole shift, you know?
Intent and emotion.
Yeah, exactly. Intent of emotion. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was going to say also, like, if you're in a hurricane, if there's a hurricane and it's brewing out in the Atlantic, and you throw a fly in that hurricane, literally a fly, as small as energy as a fly, it changes the whole course of the storm. You know, it's quite amazing. So when you're talking about energy, boy, just human beings are energy bodies. We're powerhouses. You know, the ability to be able to take your energy and have an intent and direction and focus, that manifestation, baby, is coming through the pipeline. So it's very important to kind of train your mind not to have any, to have negative thoughts. You know, everything that you're doing is you're a guinea pig. You're experiencing it. You know, it's experiential. Thank you for the opportunity and gratitude to have that experience, right? Yeah. And then your goal. Once you synchronize with yourself, and you say, I love myself under all conditions. Okay, so I had so I was doing Master Fast, and in the middle of it, I had a binge. Love yourself unconditionally. Probably won't happen again, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah, learn from it. Yeah.
No, but you know, don't feel guilty, folks. Don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it. You learned from it. Move on.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, when we fall, it's a sign that it's time to love yourself more.
Yes.
Love yourself even more than before. You see, like, be even more gentle with yourself than before the fall, and you will have better results. I remember thinking about that for years, but it's true. It's really true. Yeah. So love yourself more. If you fall, it's okay.
Did you have any crazy healing reactions in your 90 days?
Yes, I had many. I mean, not crazy, but quite good. The first few weeks, I had a ski injury on my knee.
Oh, you wrote about that one, I think, yeah.
The first few weeks, I was waking up with knee pain every day. And I had never, I never had that much of pain lately, but this happened 4 years ago, and I knew I never healed it totally, because every time I was wearing like high heel shoes, it would always like hurt, or when I run, it would hurt, and now it's totally gone. And yeah, a lot of things. And
isn't it amazing?
Yeah, I was so surprised. Like the first week, immediately, my cavity healed, my skin healed so much more, and I'm sure if I continued only like a little bit more, it would be perfect. But I stopped, and now, yeah, that's why I want to go back again. And then a lot of things like, I was having these like strong breath. In the morning, like metal taste.
Yeah.
That was, I think, a healing reaction, and that.
Heavy metal toxins, or maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I've went through that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
For me, like one time, it was like 3 days of this horrific, no matter what, wouldn't go away, metallic taste. Horrible experience. The body's just expelling stuff.
Yeah.
Gino, I got to tell you.
One of my other emotional healing reaction was during my dry fast. I could do mostly 60 hours, and that time I had all these like fears coming, like so much that I couldn't take anymore. I was like, oh no, I can't like take anymore. And that's when I broke it. And I think that healed a lot emotionally, because I never knew, like I never faced those fears that much, that clearly in my life before. And I think that was the best like healing process that I went through.
Next time you push a little more, because you know where you've already experienced that level, so you just pushed a bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know one thing on the dry fasting for me is like on the physical body? Unbelievable. So if I sprained my ankle in a soccer game and I would say, okay, now I'm going to do 2 days of dry fasting, and you know, something that would normally take 4 to 6 weeks to heal on like a normal human body, within 2 or 3 days I'm up running around. It's so amazing when the energy is not going into the digestive and the GI tract and all that. It is your biggest ally and friend on the planet.
It's so
crazy.
Simple. It's so
crazy.
Simple. I don't understand, but people can't see. Like I wrote a bit about when was it, last week, about how the body, if it ever has an injury, whether it's physical or emotional, it'll never heal properly if you're eating. So what do if somebody dies in your family? You fast. You fast. You dry fast. What do if you break a bone? You fast immediately. This is the way we need to come to that understanding. No hesitation. Stop food immediately. Any issue you have, injury, emotional, physical, whatever it is, fast. Fast, fast till it's healed. You will come out the other end brand new. If you don't and you continue to eat a bone or emotion, they will not mend and have access to the blueprint to heal completely. Even though you think it's healed, it will not. And we've seen so many people that old injuries come back where they didn't think about them anymore, as yourself and other people, and they come back because they haven't healed and they have to do the work. Finally, now that you stop the digestion for a long time. And it's so amazing to see that. It's like, oh, these are miracles. These are miracles.
Isn't it funny that dry fasting is basically nothing, but at the same time, it's everything?
Yeah. You go within to expand.
Really, dry fasting is like doing nothing. Dry fasting is nothing. I mean, it's the least you can ever do. Nothing. Dry fast. But it's the most healing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Isn't it paradoxical? In nothing, there's everything, right?
This is where we've been duped, folks.
Yeah.
We've been duped.
That's for sure.
You need this, you need that, you need this, the another thing in it. We don't need anything. We don't need anything. The purest state that I feel is when I go on my long drives, I get into a state where I don't desire anything, nothing. And it's just total freedom, where I've never ever felt these before in my life until I started dry fasting. And it starts happening when you start getting to 7 to 9 days. You don't desire anything. I'm not advocating people doing that. You train yourself slowly over the months and years, slowly. Anything over 5 days, have supervision. If you just don't want to be jumping into these long dry fasts. Follow, especially on Master Fast, don't go more than 5 days. You're going to be pushing way too much on a dry fast, more than 5 days within a Master Fast. Stick to the system.
Even if you do 5 days,
yeah,
make sure
it's a lot.
You have to have the experience, like 2-year experience of dry fasting before you do it.
It's everybody that we've seen starting to trying to do these long dry fasts, no experience, they all crashed. They don't see them no more.
Or
I feel a lot of the people on Master Fast are doing around a day, 2 days on the maximum end, sometimes 3.
Yeah.
Pushing it, you know, in like during the work week or whatever, you know.
Yeah, we start on the low end and work our way up, man. You want to go the distance, because the longer you give that digestion a rest, the more healing will happen. And that's the key.
Yeah.
And so we try and do our dailies, whatever. We start on the low end for newbies, 12, 14 hours, more than enough for newbies who haven't, coming off a SAD diet or whatever diet and no fasting experience, and, you know, try to shoot for 24 hours every week. At the end of the month, you try and go for a 3-day, but if you don't make it, it's okay. You got the next month to try again. And, you know, I've given all these tips and little tips and tricks to try and push it, like, you know, with the tinctures or with a little bit of fluids, very, very small amounts, to help train. It's all this. At the end of the day, it's all this to train. It's not the physical body. It's all the mind that's going to hold us back. Nothing else.
This summer, Tucci and I are going to come up to Toronto, and we're going to spend a couple of days with you, and we're going to do a dry fast together.
Nope.
Sure, no problem. Let it.
If you wish.
Awesome.
I don't mind. It's awesome. You guys are great.
Oh, thank you. With a dry fast, I feel it's two things. One thing is practice. So as you practice, it becomes easier. So for the mind, right? For the mind, we train the mind as we practice. You become more and more confident as you do it. But the other thing is the emotions. The other thing is the emotions, the mind, I would say together. But the other thing is the toxicity in the body, how toxic your body is. The more toxic the body is, the more dehydrated it will be, and so you'll be more thirsty. So you cannot go very long. But as it becomes cleaner and cleaner with time, as you keep cleansing, it becomes easier to do the dry fast. And push.
Once you start hydrating at the cellular level, you'll be able to push longer in the dries. Simple. If you try and push in a dehydrated state, most people are between 20 and 30% dehydrated at the cellular level. From whatever type of measurement we have, how accurate they are, and it doesn't matter. But when they've measured people, that's the range. Okay? And that's a lot. The last time I got myself measured, I was like 8.5%, and I was above average. You know, but still in a dehydrated state. So, you know, as we, you know, if we're going to try and push the dry fast in that dehydrated state, you're going to get dehydrated in a bad situation very quickly. When you go to these tropical islands, you'll notice a lot of people, the Westerners or whatever, going to these tropical islands. They go into these crazy, dangerous dehydrated states. Diarrheas, puking, they have to go to the hospital. This happens a lot in tropical islands.
Sure. Just because of the bacteria in the water, yeah.
It's not that, but it's a little bit of everything. The body is so much in a dehydrated state, and they're going there to drink it and everything, but they can't hydrate.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because that extra heat, their body's not used to it. Bang, and they go into, you know, the what do they call that? When you go to dehydrated state? There's a term they use. I forgot the term. But anyway, I've seen it a lot there. The hospitals were full of these people.
Yeah, when the body's toxic, you get burned right away, right? Whereas when you're cleaner, you don't get burned.
Yeah, even that as well. That's another story. Yeah. Once you're in a hydrated state.
Burned, but you know, you're affected by the sun. You get dehydrated. You get burned. It's all together. I feel, you know. If you're toxic,
well, you're already burning when you're dehydrated. You're on fire. And this is where all the issues come. But you know, it's always goes back to imbalance, because when we're looking at the matter state with this chemistry stuff, it's not accurate, and that's the issue. So as time goes on, we'll more and more understanding will come about with plasma, and we'll be able to fully or better understand, not fully, but better understand exactly what's going on, because our body's not in a matter state like we've been taught. It's in a semi-matter state. It's in a GAN state. So it's a semi-matter. And, you know, just the same as when we go to sleep, close our eyes, and we dream and we travel, we can do it in the awakened state. But we have forgotten. We've forgotten. Because we're doing it every night anyway. So why can't we do it when we're awake? You know, we should be able to travel anywhere we want with our physical body. That's the power of plasma. Instantly, you want to be on Mars, you're there. That's space travel.
Oh, Mars, yeah.
Mars or wherever planet you want to go, Venus, Jupiter, another galaxy, another universe, whatever. So, you know, this is the beauty and the magic. You know, you're in your dreams. You want to be somewhere. You're instantly there. You're instantly there. What's more real, the dream state or this state? Ask yourself that question.
That's the $1 billion question.
Yeah. I say the other side's more real.
Value on it. You can't put a monetary value.
You know, we come from an energy state into the semi-matter state. In that energy state, we never ate physical foods. We come here and we're eating physical foods. So, if we were already in a state where we didn't have to eat physical foods, why do we have to eat physical foods here? It's all an illusion. We've been brainwashed. We've been duped, folks.
Yeah.
Just like that atom I was telling you about. It's continuously, the electrons continuously rotating, just like the planets, continuously rotating. Where do they get their energy? They don't eat. They don't have fuel or wings or an engine.
The only way we can be controlled is when we think. When we stop the thinking, you can't be controlled because your energy shifts into your heart and your magnetic realm, right? So the more we think in the magnetic realm, they can control us. They can control us through food. They can control us through money, and they can control us through
water, air, frequencies.
And language. Yeah.
Language. Yeah, language. That's another slavery. Yeah, language. It limits. Like myself, I'm not a great communicator. Language is a problem for me. I do things more by feeling. Why don't you understand it? My mind's going on, you know, because it's not coming out the way I'm kind of feeling it. You know what I mean? Because it's limiting.
Well, what you're doing week in and week out too is you're doing more of a channel now too. You're letting the source energy come through you because your vessel is nothing, right? So you're filling up that vessel with whatever comes into it and whatever you feel, rather than a premeditated thought, right? I always say that the thought becomes the toxifier, right? Because when you're in thought, then you're thinking about the future and you're thinking about the past, which don't exist. So you become delusional within the illusion, right? With the Maya, we call it the Maya or the illusion. So it's all an illusion. So I like your thought about, like, you know, what's truly the awakened state when you're up or when you're sleeping, right? It all goes back to that. So
yeah, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you. I did a 60-hour dry, and I broke it with coconut water, which I found very good way to break it, for me at least. But within the GI tract, within the stomach, was like it was like my whole internals felt like they crinkled up. I was wondering if Tuche or you has ever experienced that. Like the whole, it was so dry. I felt like maybe it was just a placebo effect of the mind, but everything felt so dry. And then I had the coconut water, and then I just ran to the bathroom. You know, it was like
it's a lot. Yeah, that's okay. You're gonna go through all kinds of sensations. Coconut water is okay. That's why I have it as an option. But I really like people, especially when they go on the long ones, to do the bubbly, just to cool down the kidneys a bit because of all the acid state that we put our body in, to cool it down. And then, you know, you can sip on some coconut water as an option if you like. You know, coconut water, you know, people have done these long coconut water. You can go very long on coconut water because it's a food. It's the water of a seed. You know, that coconut plant that grows a tree. So there's a lot of energy in coconut water.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why, you know, when you're doing these long dry fasts, you come off them, it's good to kind of feed the body in that way to help recover from these dries. It's a great option, but don't go crazy on it when you're on master fast. Just to do it as an option on the longer ones, maybe, not always.
Coconut water and blue-green algae. If you let's say I was riding my bike and I got hit by a car and I was bleeding on the street, I could take the coconut water or the blue-green algae, put it directly into my mouth as a blood transfusion or intravenously, and that would be enough to you know, regenerate the blood platelets. From what I understand, I've never done it. Hopefully, I won't have the opportunity to do it. But
Yeah,
then,
well,
there's
there-
probably a lot of truth to that, isn't there?
there's stories of in the wars they used coconut water for blood transfusion, just coconut water.
Yeah, right. Wow.
So, why I can't see why not. The coconut trees are a very strong tree. You'll see them growing right on the shores of oceans. They take it straight ocean water, no problem. You know, not many plants can do that. So it's got a lot of energy, especially sucking in ocean water if it's near the shore. It's an amazing. It's in another plasmatic state. The coconut water itself, as is all fruit and all plants and so on and so forth. And the ocean water itself is also in a GAN state, the plasmatic state. Ocean water is amazing. I mentioned I've sold it for feeding it to plants, for growing them. I grew sprouts with them for many years, and my gardens and all my friends' gardens and fruit trees. We've tried it on everything. The flavors are amazing when you feed plants ocean water. But now we got plasma, so we can use that, and we're just using the energy instead of the actual physicality of it, and it's even better. Just mix them all up and feed them and just give them all that love. Just amazing, amazing, amazing. So, there's so many options that we have and tools that we can use to make our experience on the fast a little easier. Yeah, we're going to have some down days, but, no big deal. We have so many tools now where I never had way back in the past. So, enemas are a big lifesaver, folks. Anything, whatever it is, emotion, pain, suffering, what? Enema. That's going to be your best thing for you to do. What's the question?
Yeah. So a few questions. Sorry, I didn't go over them. So this might be a silly question. This is by MasterFast member, but I have been practicing the dry fasting as well, and it has been amazing. But I have been feeling my body is eating itself, and my conditioned brain says it's the body breaking down the muscle, and I need to have protein. But I feel great. What is going on with my body during these dry fasts?
Yeah, well, the body doesn't break down itself. The body removes obstructions. And since most of us have eaten foods that are not in line with our species for most of our life, we're not built on proper materials. And the body's going to strip itself when it stops, when you stop feeding it. That's the first thing it does. It goes into an elimination mode, and it starts ripping out all that stuff that's weak or damaged or whatever first, and it'll keep shedding it. And some people, as we see on the Master Fast, they'll go to literally skin and bones, and other people don't. So it all depends on what you're built on, and it's not only focusing only on what you've eaten, it's also the emotions that you've been thinking your whole life. They go hand in hand, and they work together. Of what your physicality is a reflection of your intent and emotion of your soul, not the other way around. Your intent and emotion of your soul is how we manifest and what we see here. So, all this protein stuff that we've listened and stuff, if you've listened to what we've been talking about tonight, it's all a myth. We don't need anything. We don't need anything.
Also, how do you conquer the thirst of water feeling you get?
You hydrate yourself.
Keep dry fasting, you think? No.
Dry fasting is the trigger to hydration. It's what's going to start your body changing itself from a dehydrated state to a hydrated state. It's the dry fasting which starts it. Believe it or not. Stop drinking water, start dry fasting, and start using the Master Fast is the best way to make that transition quicker. And then, you're using the dry fasting, and when you're eating the fruits and the vegetables to keep that going. But drinking water is a losing battle. You just dehydrate yourself. Everybody's drinking water out there. Everybody's sick. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. We've proved it over and over and over with so many people. Everybody stops drinking water. At the beginning, they get thirsty like crazy. Some people 50, 60, 70 days, they were complaining they're dying of thirst. and then no more thirst. Once you hit that spot where you don't get thirsty no more, you put yourself in a better hydrated state. And it just gets better and better and better as you continue practicing dry fasting, eating clean, eating mostly fruit and raw fruits and vegetables. It's simple, folks. Simple.
What's happening when the body is reacting to the dry fasting, and how to not worry about the body breaking? I think you answered it, but this was before.
Yeah, we've talked about that, dry fasting. It's you let the mind go. It's all the mind playing games.
Okay, yeah, he said the other questions are already answered.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it, folks. This is how we spend our Saturday nights. Instead of being out there, being tempted by everything and anything, it's not saying not to go out or anything, but once you've trained yourself, things won't bother you. What I used to do before, anytime I had to go to events, there was going to be food, I would eat before I go. I would eat before I go, and I would nibble on a couple of things that were okay to eat. That's the way I used to do it. To make it easier for me. So you go there, don't have to worry about any food at all. But I've went to weddings fasting. Believe it or not, everybody's eating, and I'm watching everybody eat. It's it's
a good way to socialize while you're doing raw food or fasting. Well, fasting you can't really eat, but if you're doing raw foods and you want to socialize, one thing that really helped me was to bring the food everywhere you go. Not just your food, but like, let's say they're eating salad with everything else, right? They eat everything. Bring a salad. I used to say salad on me, so I used to bring salad for everybody. And that really helps. It really helps. I mean, if you're eating cooked, bring some cooked food, but at least it's your way, right? So you can eat it, and other people can try your food. They usually love it. And that's a good way to socialize with others while eating.
Yeah, so I find for me, when I eat anything with salt, like my mother, I'll taste her stuff here and there. The salt really bothers me. Once you've cleaned yourself up, you don't need to be putting this stuff in your body. You'll feel it. You'll feel it. It's interesting. It's interesting how it works, how sensitive the body becomes. And I hear people saying, I don't want to be too sensitive. No, you want to be sensitive, because that's why you have senses. You want to feel. Your body's warning you. It's awake. You want senses. You want to know. When you're all numbed out, you're eating this, that, and the other, you don't feel anything. One day it's too late, because your senses are dead. You're sleeping. So what are we at? We're over 2 hours. I guess, one, it's been a good night. Thanks for the feedback, for folks. Awesome.
Thank you.
We need some more interaction. I can't do all talking. We expand by everybody's experience, and it's great when people share their experiences. It's amazing.
Thank you for the platform to share our experience with you tonight too.
Awesome.
Hopefully we didn't deter anyone from asking questions and stuff like that, and we just kept an open forum, and we really love you, and and thank you for the co-creation. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Much love to you guys and everybody. Awesome. Namaste. All right, so we'll call it a night, and till next week. Hope to see you guys again. And I think that's it. All right, guys.
Have a great week, everyone. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Awesome.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Arrivederci.
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 Buonanotte.
Buonanotte. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Grazie.